Freaks, what do you have against chilling? Well, personally, I don't have anything against chilling. I love chilling. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm always telling the ladies to come over with some Netflix and chill. But, if I got a girl to come over for Netflix and chill, right? And she wanted to, perfectly fine. But if I told her that she can't leave unless she has sex with me, boom. Well, that would be coercive. That would be effectively rape, all right? And I mean, if she chose to have sex with me because she wanted to leave, I mean, that's coercive rape, all right? Now, if the government tries to do that, if the government says you can't leave your home unless, of course, you take an experimental magic potion, and people like you try to say, hey, man, what do you have against chilling, man? It's one of the most benign things you can do. Well, there's nothing wrong when chilling is voluntary, but when it's coercive, well, it becomes insane. I mean, this is the kind of argument many of the southern plantation owners a few hundred years ago in the United States of America would make when they were importing slaves from Africa, essentially stealing them, all right, or trading for them. And they would take them to the United States and then force them to pick cotton. Granted, a lot of people made the argument they were treating them well. In fact, the southern plantation owners would make the argument that it was a form of neighborliness. That sounds quite similar to the kind of argument that you were making. They would say that they were integrating them into a more civilized society. It was a very benign argument, right? Benign thing to do. But the problem with that is it was slavery. It was a violation of their rights. You see, a lot of people don't seem to have a problem, right, with doing something that they think is going to lead to the greatest amount of good. But this is the argument of tyrants. This is the argument that utilitarians, that communists will often make, that it's done in order to bring about a greater good for the greatest amount of people. And you can use this if you were a clever politician or you're a psychopath to justify anything. Child sacrifices, we're doing it because we're going to appease the will of the gods. Or dropping bombs on a strip like the Gaza Strip, right, and saying we're trying to clear out Hamas. Well, we're doing this because it's going to make the world a better place. Well, here's the thing. If it's inherently wrong to do that thing, you shouldn't be doing it. That's the human rights position. That's the position of every moralist. Now, if you try to make what is being done into some kind of benign thing, right? I mean, that's on you. You can call it benign, but if it's violating someone's will and they're not doing anything wrong by staying in their home or doing anything, and you're trying to say that you're going to force them to do it, well, that's the problem. You can't force people to do things. You can't, whether it's conscripting someone to go and fight in a holy war, or whether it's locking someone in their homes, trying to get them to take an experimental jab, or whether it's taking someone from another country and making them work on your plantation because you think it's a form of neighborliness. You shouldn't do it because it's fundamentally immoral. It violates their consent. Unless you have a consent-based system of ethics, you can justify anything and everything. There isn't a single thing that you cannot justify with this kind of logic that appeals to potentiality, appeals to the greater good. Hey, we're doing all of this stuff to keep people safe. This subjective amorphous construct that somehow this immoral action that violates the natural rights of people is going to lead to bringing about herd immunity, right? It's absolutely insane. And of course, we all know that that whole argument was complete bollocks. And fundamentally, you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be forcing people to stay in their homes. And then if you want to call it benign, if you want to do that, by all means, you do that, bro. I'm all down for inviting girls over to Netflix and chill if they're willing to do that. But what I'm not going to do is force them to stay and then tell them that they can't leave unless they have sex with me. And there's nothing wrong with it. All we're doing is just chilling. What do you have against chilling? It's benign, right? No, Momo. That's fucking crazy. That's psychopathic behavior.